guys, Mustang here bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the INT Caulifla and the TEQ Kale World Tournament units that got their EZAs. We're going to be trying them out both for the same video on the same team, because obviously they require a Kale or Caulifla, like the opposite, with them in order to get their full passive. And realistically, if I did two separate showcases, it's just going to be the same team but with one of them on and then the other one. So I thought we might as well try and run both of them together. We don't have the best starting rotation for Kale, unfortunately, because she's on the next turn with another Kale and Champa, but we do have a good starting rotation here for the Caulifla. So Caulifla, she raises attack, which is an infinite stack, and greatly raises defense, which is an infinite stack, supreme damage, and greatly lowers attack. She has attack and defense 160 per Universe 6 or Pepe Gal's ally on the team, depending on which has the more members. Attack and defense 30% and chance to crit 6%. So obviously on a team that is full Universe 6, including the friend, that means she has a 42% crit chance built in, which is pretty good. And then was it 30 per, so 210% extra attack and defense. When there's an ally whose name includes Kale on the team, she gets an extra 160 attack, 70% chance to dodge, and then a guaranteed additional super. When the Kale is in the same turn, she gets an extra 10% chance to dodge, so she's got 80% chance to dodge if there's a Kale on rotation. On the very first turn, she gets an extra 10% dodge chance, so on this first turn she's going to have 90% dodge. For every attack evaded, she gets attack and defense 30% up to 90%, and then after performing 6 or more attacks, gets an extra additional attack that has a great chance to become a super. So on this first turn, it would obviously be quite dangerous normally to put her in slot 1, especially early on in an event, but for turn 1, especially with a Kale on rotation, she does have a 90% chance to dodge. So hopefully she's just going to dodge here. There we go. That gives her that first extra 40% buff. And then obviously we're going to start attacking here. So only a 6 million to start us off. And as you see, then it goes up to 6.8. So she doesn't stack, in terms of attack, doesn't stack super fast. The extra additional, just a normal. So we've got 3 attacks. I think we'll pretty much always get 3 attacks off in one turn if we've got a Kale. So on the second turn we should get the other 3 attacks, and then that will be our 6 attacks performed. So that should work out relatively well. And then we got TEQ, Kale and Caulifla here. The problem is with these guys, I guess, is their best team in terms of like a full 220 lead is obviously the Carnival LR, Kale and Caulifla, who I don't have. There is the Hit from Golden Week as well. He leads Universe 6 and then tournament participants or super bosses, so he would be a full 220. I don't have him either. So when it comes to like a new Kale and Caulifla unit in terms of showcasing, I'm not in the best setup for like a full 220 lead. Obviously Rose leads super bosses for 220, but wants to be run with extreme units mostly. And then of course then we couldn't run the Caulifla friend because Rose is not on Universe 6. So it's a little bit awkward, but I mean these guys, considering they're free to play units, I am not going to have huge out of this world expectations for them, but they've done relatively well with free-to-play units recently, so I might have to Ghost Usher here, in fact, because the problem with these units that require other characters so heavily is that if you get a bad starting rotation where you don't have them, so if we take a look at the Kale, she greatly raises attack as her stack and normal raise for defense, and then she's got attack and defense 260, Universe 6 or Pepe Gal's allies 2 key, attack and defense 40%, and then Pure Saiyan allies get an extra 20%. So obviously all the Pure Saiyan Universe 6 or Pepe Gal's characters are getting 60%. When there's a Caulifla on the team, defense 160, great chance to guard, launches an additional super. When there's an ally whose name includes Caulifla in the turn, guaranteed guard. So obviously that is good. For one turn from the entry turn, guaranteed additional super. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense 120%, and then after performing 6 attacks, again, she gets an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super. So we don't have Caulifla on this rotation with her, so she doesn't have guaranteed guard. So I think just for the sake of, like, rather than resetting it multiple times so that I had a starting rotation that would be perfect, I figured we'd just jump in. So I'm just going to use a Ghost Usher here, because then obviously when this rotation comes back around again, the physical Caulifla is going to be here. So Kale starting off at 8 million. Remember, Kale is going to be stacking attack faster compared to Caulifla, but Caulifla stacks defense. I mean, it's interesting. I guess the reason they've done it that way is to kind of balance them out, because Caulifla starts out more offensive with only dodge as her defense, and then Kale starts out more defensively. So they've given them the faster stack for like the opposite attribute, so they can kind of even out. The problem with that is, I guess for like Kale, I think out of the two, I mentioned this in the video where we talked about their details, like when the data download happened. Out of the two, I think the Kale, if we could only pick one, is the most useful, because she's a support and she's got good defense and guard. So obviously it would be ideal for her in that isolated scenario, like in a vacuum. It would be ideal for her to be the one that's greatly stacking defense, because that would make her even better as the one that you could just throw onto teams as a support unit, right? So we'll see how we get on. So turn 2, Kale and Caulifla are here, so we're going to keep these guys together. So turn 2, we're up to 700k defense, which in this event is probably fine for like tanking normals. We would have to worry about a super though. We also do get our, see, these guys have what, like a 90% chance to dodge on this turn, so maybe I should put them in slot 1. I mean, this is the thing, when it comes to stackers, we can obviously now, for this event, if we really want to, we can just kind of sit and work on the Immortal Zamasu for a little while, just to get some extra stacks for our characters here. But yeah, these guys should just be able to straight up dodge in slot 1 because of all that extra dodge chance. And then they're at 16.8 million. The big thing with these units, of course, the new Kale and Caulifla that we're showcasing, is because they're World Tournament characters. Obviously, that means they have Shattering the Limit. So like on this rotation where we put Caulifla in the middle, it means that TEQ Kale and Caulifla and STR Kefla don't get access to Fierce Battle either, because the unit in the middle doesn't have it, which is not the end of the world, but obviously it's a nice little chunk of extra attack for them. So I think the Caulifla is the trickier one to use, because you very much are relying on the dodge, especially in a situation where you are going to put her in slot 1. Like, I mean, 700k start of turn, like early on in some events, you're going to be able to tank normals with that fine. And then in some events, not so much. She only did 2 attacks on this turn as well, which is really annoying. We need that one extra one. And we dodged the super. I mean, the important thing is she dodged all the attacks, right? If you're going to have a character that completely relies on dodge, and if they don't dodge, you die. As long as they're actually dodging, then it's fine, right? But the issue comes around, of course, when they don't. So, let's see. What have we got here on this turn? There's a few more attacks in the first lot than I would have liked. So, what's Kale up to on her second turn? She's at 500k. She's obviously got guaranteed guard, but the problem is, obviously, she's not going to be super tanky in slot 1 if we were to get supered or anything here. Caulifla automatically dodges the first attack, which is from Rose, and then there's an attack from Zamasu. I mean, as long as that attack isn't a super, she might be alright. But after evading an attack, yeah, she then gets the damage reduction. I think she should be okay. But yeah, you can see that slower stack for Kale's defense, even though she has guard, like 500k really isn't all that great, right? Especially considering that a unit, I mean, I guess on the of course he did, are you serious? On the overall Universe 6 team, we would be running that TEQ Kale as a floating support unit. So I suppose her start of turn defense isn't necessarily the most important thing, as long as she's getting up to good defense after she attacks. But she's still not going to be in a position where she's tanking like the biggest boss super attacks, you know, after only a couple of turns, right? It's going to take a little while to get built up. I mean, I say a little while. For some of the biggest bosses in some of the harder events that are on the shorter side, she's probably never going to stack up to the level where she would eat their super. But, I mean, for free-to-play units, they're not terrible. Obviously, the TEQ Caulifla and STR Kale are quite old now. STR Kale is, I guess, pretty outdated, because even with guard, her stats are fairly low. TEQ Caulifla will kind of always be relevant because of that ability for certain events where she just guaranteed dodges everything. And then on the right build of a Universe 6 team, if you've got enough peppy gals like Universe 6 Pure Saiyan girls, then she gets over 100% dodge anyway. So in any events that don't disable dodge, TEQ Caulifla will always be relevant, and so arguably will probably always be in a better position than this INT Caulifla. Whereas the TEQ one, ideal support unit, especially if you did pull the Carnival LR, 180k. If you pulled the Carnival LR Kale and Caulifla, then obviously that would be very, very good here. But yeah, man, we haven't got a lot of HP. What are you up to now? So now she's up to 1.7 with the support from Champa as well. So that shows you like the greatly stacking defense is definitely helping out significantly here. So if we do this, grab these, get a big old chunk of healing off of that, and then get a super here with Champa. Yeah, because TEQ Kale and Caulifla have the ability to stack like relatively fast. This will be Caulifla's 6th attack as well, so she will actually then be able to get the extra attack from her passive active. But yeah, interesting to see her defense jump up so quickly, like the greatly raised. Obviously the support, Champa does give 66%, so he is giving a significant amount of support here on this rotation. But that's why it would be so much better for Kale to have that greatly raise. If she was starting the turn at 1.7 million and had guard, then obviously she would be a lot more effective. And then obviously post super with that level of defense and guard, then she starts getting to that level of like she's a kind of reliable slot 3 support that isn't getting killed by a lot of things, right? So up to 12 million. Obviously the attack stats aren't anything crazy either, but like again, we're missing out on Fierce Battle, which gives a little bit extra, which is nice. But I mean, triple 12 million attacks, not bad for a free-to-play character. And then we get the dodges as well. So I mean, my Champa is 79%, but this guy is very RNG related when it comes to like whether he can actually do damage or anything. Whew, took 500k, jeez. I've not really used them very much, but oh boy, that's it's a bit more than I expected. Now the problem here as well actually is by having these guys together, it does mean that if we transform Caulifla, then Kale loses her abilities, obviously, right? Because she then doesn't have a Caulifla on the rotation. But you can see how slow her defense is stacking, even with a couple of supers last turn. She's gone from 500 odd K to just under 700, which, if you think about the fact if you are using her as a 3rd slot floating support unit, then she's not going to be on as many turns, which means she's not going to be getting as many stacks, which means overall, like, you're not going to be getting as high numbers. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I say, with the Kale, they should have just made both of them greatly raise attack and greatly raise defense. I can see why they gave Caulifla the extra defense, because she does rely on dodge early on. And as you can see, like, her defense has jumped up pretty significantly now with that greatly raising. But Kale, I think, really needs it as the unit that would be the floating support. And therefore, as I say, a unit on the team that's not going to be... She's not going to be getting to super as much as the units who are on main rotation, which means she's not getting as many stacks. And even her having the greatly raise attack, she's only up to 10 mil here. And then the additional doesn't immediately go straight to 11, so it's not like it jumps up super, super fast. But yeah, she'll have gotten all of her extra attacks here, so now we've finally got the extra attack with a 70% chance to be a super. Obviously there's the chance for the hidden potential as well, so a quad super turn here. That's the kind of thing we want to see. Because yeah, how well is she going to tank this now? She's got guard, she's just raised her defense 4 more times. Still takes 278k. Yeah, it's a bit more than I would like for considering this event isn't the hardest. I mean, the final phase hits pretty hard, but yeah, especially like this early on, we would be expecting a unit that's like stacking and has guard, still taking 200k from a super. And bear in mind, it's from an AGL character, so even though she has guard active, she also has those nodes in the hidden potential to take slightly less damage from AGL characters. It's why guard units still take less damage from a unit they have type advantage over, because of those hidden potential nodes adding a little bit of extra like damage reduction or extra defense, if you will. And then Kefla just gets taken out by Rose. Yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, the AGL Kale, not the best unit, and she's only a 200% lead. That is the other thing, right? We're not running double 220 leads here because I don't have the physical Kale and Caulifla myself. But, I mean, these guys seem okay. Honestly, I'm quite surprised to say that I was probably more impressed with the Caulifla. The fact that her defense got up as high as it did, as quickly as it did. But even then, like, start of turn 1.7 million, if you're putting her in slot 1, she's still relying on dodge against some of the harder hitting bosses. So it's not exactly ideal. But, I mean, these guys aren't terrible. I would say, given the quality of some of the World Tournament character EZAs that we've seen over the many months that they've been doing these now, these guys are definitely not as bad as some of the ones that we've seen. I just don't think they're like super good auto includes. Like if you have all the units that have come out recently, like the Golden Week Hit and the Kale and Caulifla Carnival LR, like you could probably make a solid build of the Universe 6 team without having to worry about using these guys, right? With the TEQ Kale and Caulifla, TEQ Caulifla. I guess STR Kefla is kind of a liability sometimes, like we saw there, if she doesn't dodge. But yeah, these guys are okay. They're just not like anything super crazy. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ninja. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.